even if I touch a meal. And do it through the pain, I don't need the pain. And life won't get me down, but it won't break my will. Cause I've been chasing this so long, I can't give up. I won't give in, been through too much. I done prayed for the money, I done prayed for the fame. I done prayed that I will make a sacrifice and play this game. I done prayed that my life would never be the same. I done prayed that I will make it bring glory to my name.
Ladies and gentlemen, before we get started, here at Ivy Talks Podcast Network, we're doing a subscriber giveaway. We'll be doing a giveaway on the 1st and the 15th of every month for $50 for a random subscriber. All you have to do to enter is subscribe, comment on any video, and you'll be entered for a chance to win. And once you do it once, you're entered for life. And it's going to be on the 1st, 15th of every month. A random subscriber will be chosen to win $50. As you grow, that money will go up. So go ahead, subscribe, comment to enter. Enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Uncle Strib. We are here with the main man, the myth, the legend himself, Slender Man in the flesh, Mr. Calvin Williams. How we doing?
Yes, sir. I'm good, man. I'm good. Always good to come down here, down to San Antonio, see my bro, get a workout in, hoop, all the above.
Oh man, we've been doing it all. Just got done with a good lift for sure.
You know what's crazy?
What?
I don't think people really be working out like on their vacations. I got to get one in.
Oh yeah,
I got to get one in. I don't care where it is or what the case is. Just got to get some movement in. You know what I'm saying?
100%. Yeah, I usually find a way to get a lift in, even when I travel. Even if it's like at the hotel, 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats.
It's funny too, because when we went out to, what was it called, Oregon?
Mm-hmm.
And then Arizona too, somehow we found a way to get one in, even if it was just minimal, just light or something like that. So, no excuses made around here. That's all I'm saying.
None.
Well, I mean, I was making excuses for like a month, but you know the deal with that. So,
yeah.
That's reasonable though. So
we are back and we are better. We've been hanging out. Went to Cigar Lounge yesterday. Watched the game. Had a conversation with a guy named Ted. He was cool. We was just talking about.
Really, you know what's funny about it too is that, and this is kind of interesting because obviously I don't know like the geographics and everything that's coming down here in like San Antonio and everything.
Yeah.
But the thing that was funny is that the same stuff that's happening in Nashville as far as like the housing market, how, you know, they're just building up and everything. Like literally they can take like a little like patch of just like a parking lot and build up 3 skinny houses and everything. I never thought that was the case here and everything, to be honest. But when we started talking to him and everything, he was telling us, I'm like, dang, like, this is, you know, Tennessee's like how far away? 14 hours away or something like that?
Yeah.
Something like that? Yeah. And y'all still dealing with the same exact stuff because do y'all have state income tax?
No.
So that's another
thing. It's like
Tennessee.
So
yeah, so I mean, that's another attractive thing. So I never thought about that. But when he said that, I'm like, damn, like...
I'm sure they're going through the same thing in Florida. They don't have state income tax either.
Yeah.
I feel like any state that doesn't have state income tax is probably going through similar stuff, especially in like Nashville's like the mecca of Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as business opportunity, tech, businesses moving there, just the e-commerce of the city.
And just what they about to do. Like I showed you that East Bank thing that I said.
Yeah.
I said like that let alone is going to be a hot spot of just attractive and everything because when they clear everything out from there, it's like they're gonna put up more like apartment buildings and everything right there. And then you gotta think about it too. They're what's it called? They're destructing the football stadium to build the dome and everything. So that's gonna be another attractive thing as well. Because they're trying to
see what they're doing around the arena or around the stadium. They're building like this, like they're pretty much. For context, for those of y'all that aren't from Nashville, the Tennessee Titans are getting a $1 billion renovation to make a dome for their Nissan Stadium. And what they're also doing is like the neighboring area around the stadium, they're building shopping places, they're building restaurants, and they're building upscale apartment complexes. So they're like
it kind of sounds
essentially
like
gentrifying.
It kind of sounds like what they're doing like with Atlanta, like their dome and everything, because you know Atlanta built up around their dome and everything like that. But the only thing that I have to say is that that's going to bring a lot of attractive things. Like obviously they're going to try to get a Super Bowl there. They use Bridgestone and everything for concerts and everything.
Yeah.
Now they have like a separate venue to do that now. I mean the CMA Fest, they can have that like really any time of the year now because it's indoors and everything like that. So usually it's during the summer just because the hot months and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's gonna bring a lot of more money. Just
to the city.
And you know, it will bring a lot more like job opportunities, which is the good thing about it too as well. But you know, when a lot of job opportunities gonna bring a boatload of new people too. So the only thing I'm gonna say, man, they have to do something with the interstates, and I don't know how they're gonna do it because what was the stats? It was like a year ago or something. It was like 200 people were moving to Nashville every single day. Or something like that.
Yeah, like 200 people a day.
I wonder what it is now, to be honest, with all these tech companies coming.
Let's find out.
But I mean, it's bad, man. It's just like there's really in Nashville. There's like on the interstate, it's 3 to 4 lanes and everything. To be honest, we need 6. We need 6, and I don't know how they're gonna do that. To be honest.
Yeah, this is not what I asked.
You checked
and this is 2023. Yeah, 2023 it was 100 people a day. Dang, I put in the wrong year. Let's see if I can find 2024. Because 2022 is 100. I mean, it's about 100 a day. 2024 is about the same. It's basically about 100 a day. But it's been 100 a day for like a decade. So it's just the consistent.
I wonder what the number is of people moving out to kind of contrast that and everything, you know?
I don't think people are moving out like that. Like if you I don't think people are moving out. Not I mean obviously you have people moving out.
But it's not at a big rate like that.
Cause I don't see people moving out. Like if you get a nice paying job, the only way I see now there's different situations, but for me personally, if I'm in a state with state income tax, I'm not moving to a state that has income tax.
Yeah.
So if I do move out of if I move out of Tennessee, if I move out of Texas, or I move out of Florida, I'm moving to Florida. Like if I'm moving out of Tennessee, I'm moving to Florida, Texas. There's another state that doesn't have state income tax, but I forget. But I know the big 3 are Texas, Tennessee, and Florida. Mm-hmm. I think maybe it's Vermont or something like that. But
that's not attractive to me. No.
But yeah, but you also want to move like south, like Florida. In Texas, you don't really have winter. Mm-hmm. If you like a winter, you move to Tennessee. Tennessee, you get all 4 seasons, all extreme 4 seasons. Yeah. You get triple-digit summers, you get foot of snow winters, and then you get tornado season springs, and you get thunderstorm falls. So you get the extreme of each season. Mm-hmm. But like you said, like why move to California if you're making $80K a year, $60K a year, $50K a year, and you're not paying any state income tax? Why move to California where your state income tax is like 20%, depending on what, your tax bracket? But so I don't know if the outflux is anything that's out of the ordinary compared to like just people, because people move out, but I don't know if there's like an outflux because of the big influx. Mm-hmm. Now I think there might be a pushing out of the Nashville area because people have a house closer to Nashville, or have a house. And then these people come in and they're giving these crazy offers for the house. You sell that. So like, let's say your house, you bought it for $300K. And then you stayed in there for 10, 15 years. And then COVID with the migration or whatever, somebody offers you $600K for your house because, over time it went up. And somebody from California is coming to a state where they keep more, they make the same amount, but they keep more of their money. Mm-hmm. Then they offer you $600K. Well, with the $600K, you could pay off whatever you have left on your mortgage and you pocket the rest. Mm-hmm. So like, let's say you bought it for $300K, 15 years later, you owe, say you pay down half, you owe $150K. Somebody offers you $60K. You pay the rest of the $150, then you're pocketing $450K. Then you can move further out and buy a house for $300K. Then you're pocketing $150K. After you buy your, you know what I'm saying?
And that's funny money at that point.
Yeah.
Like you can do whatever
you can invest it, or you can, if you want to use the whole budget, you can buy you a $450,000 house further out where you can still get more bang for your buck. Like if you move to Columbia, mm-hmm. like if you got a house in Bellevue, Franklin, Cool Springs area, Brentwood area, if you sell that house and you go to Columbia, Tennessee, with that same amount you sold it for, you probably get more house.
Columbia is right now getting built up right now. The next spot is Lewisburg. Like, that's past Columbia and everything. But I'm telling you, just land out there. Just land and everything. I'm like, yeah.
I think even Murfreesboro is going to start like that.
The far side of Murfreesboro?
No, I think from like, you know how like Independence you can take 840 and go straight to Murfreesboro.
Mm-hmm.
I think that area from Independence to Murfreesboro, that's eventually gonna get all built up.
Oh yeah, I think
it's nothing but land and trees.
Once you go past like Murfreesboro, like, cause that's the way that I used to go back to UTC and everything.
Yeah.
There's a place called like McMinnville and everything where they have like Bonnaroo, just land out there.
Yeah.
Just like. And then they building up Clarksville and everything right now, and plus they got the Army base right there too.
Yeah.
So I mean, and then they're gonna push further out to like Dixon. I think they already got like a little stuff over there. They're gonna push out west. Like, I think it might touch. Like, and I think in a few years it might touch Jackson. I'm not gonna lie to you one bit. I can see it.
That's tough.
I think it might, dude. I think it honestly might.
Eventually it will.
Yeah.
Eventually, yeah. I think in the next. I've said this. I don't know. I've said this on the pod before. But I think in the next 10 years, you know how Dallas is set up? Dallas-Fort Worth area?
Isn't Dallas and Fort Worth like really right next to each other?
Right. So the way Dallas-Fort Worth is called the Metroplex, it's Dallas, Fort Worth, Arlington. They're three cities. They're like kind of right next to each other. But they essentially kind of merge to where it's the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex area. So they count that as one population because since they're right next to each other. It's almost kind of like, it's like the best way I could put it in Nashville terms. It's like if you count
Franklin all together.
It's like Nashville, Cool Springs, and lumping in a little bit of like Clarksville. If you were to lump Clarksville all the way down to Columbia, essentially, and count all that population as the Metroplex. So like there's 8 million people that live in that area. It's the highest populated part of Texas. I think Nashville is in 10 years is going to end up like the Dallas-Fort Worth area where you're going to have Nashville as like the center one. So you got Dallas is the big city. Fort Worth is up there. It's still big. Arlington's still big, but it's all clumped together. I think Nashville, Clarksville, and Columbia and everything in between will be just grouped into the Nashville Metroplex population. And it's going to be probably like 6-7 million people in the next 10 years.
I ain't ready for that. I'm not ready for that, man.
It's gonna be crazy, yeah. Then you're gonna have people that live in Huntsville, Alabama that just commute to Nashville for work.
People already do it right now. You know, what's it called? You remember Pisa Fern?
Yeah. He
lives in Huntsville and he still commutes up to like Columbia where the GM plant is.
Yeah.
It's only I think it's like an hour and 30-minute drive. Cause I remember I was talking to Megan when we had our high school reunion.
Yeah.
I was like, how's like Pisa doing? She's like, oh yeah, he still works for GM. I was like, don't y'all live in Huntsville? She's like, yeah, he just gets up early, drives and everything. I said, boy.
But they probably got a good deal on the house.
They got a good deal on the house, and I know GM pays well if you stay there for a minute.
Yeah.
Like, they pay really well. So, yeah, man.
We'll see. It'll be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Calvin, what is what's something that's getting you motivated nowadays? What are you really striving for in this moment? Like, I know you got like long-term goals, but like, what's the process that you're doing right now? Like for something you're really like hardcore striving for, it keeps you motivated in like day-to-day present time. Yeah, we get deep today, bro.
It's a good question because I've always thought about the long term and everything. I think what I'm doing right now is just living below my means and everything. I think that's the biggest thing for me is just because, like, to be honest, I still live like a college student and everything. Like, I think the biggest thing for me too, and I think the biggest purchase that I recently just had was 2 years ago. Like, I bought my first, like my updated car and everything like that. That was kind of like a graduation gift for me because after like graduation, I did like a little internship and everything. I came back as a GA for basketball. COVID hit. started a new job and everything, and had to work my way up.
Yeah.
And then like once I had like a little bit of savings and everything, I was like, you know what, man, I'm gonna treat myself. Like I'm gonna get me a decent car that's gonna last me and everything. But other than that, man, I think I'm really just trying to live below my means and just save as much money because I mean it's just expensive out here for anything. No, obviously I'll take trips to see you and everything, but that's at like, you know, like I said, I got the Southwest card, like, you know what I'm saying? Like I get the free flights and everything. But I think the thing for me is just really living below my means and saving up money because at some point I do want to buy a house or like a townhouse or something like that. I just don't know when that opportunity is gonna come and everything. Obviously, like the interest rates are high and everything now. Yeah, man, I think I'm just trying to save as much money as I can and everything like that.
But why? Are you just trying to save to have a little bit of like cushion financially?
A little cushion and everything, and plus like, I'm not trying to like live like. I know some people at my age still party and stuff like that. It's just like I'm just that type of stuff doesn't interest me anymore. Like, what interests me and everything is obviously working out, staying fit, playing basketball, eating good, and just hanging out with people and everything. Like I don't go out, I don't drink.
Yeah.
I don't spend my money. I don't basically screw off on my money on unnecessary things and everything like that. You know, I used to when I was like in college and like my graduate stuff, and you kind of look back and you're like, bro, like I spent this much just going out. Like it's sickening almost.
Yeah.
It's like I had that reality check, and I was just like, you know what, man? If I want to do better, I have to cut some stuff out. Kind of basically grow up in a sense and everything.
Yeah.
Like I said, man, I think we all still maturing and everything in some form or fashion. So yeah, man, I think just simplistically, I'm just trying to live below my means, save up as much as I can because I don't know when that right opportunity is gonna come to buy that house. I just want to be ready and everything for it.
And you're like trying to, and your goal is to like own a home, like mortgage.
I want to own a home, and this is the thing where I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if I want to turn it into a rental property, like obviously live in it for like 2 to 3 years or something, like, you know, upgrade it a little bit if needed,
right?
And then you know have a rental property, because that's the biggest thing right now in Nashville. It's like a lot of people come in, just buy a property and then they rent it out.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's just like I don't know what the future brings. Like I might be dating somebody, might have kids and everything. So you know, my mindset may change during that time. Like I said, I just want to be ready when the opportunity presents itself and everything, and have a game plan and everything like that. Because honestly, if I do get a townhome and everything, that's not going to be a forever home. Just because you got a wife and kids, you're gonna need a bigger space.
Yeah.
I want 2 big ass dogs, so I want some type of a yard too. So I think if I start there, it'll be great. But I don't necessarily think that's going to be the long-term play. But that depends on, you know, what I get myself into from that standpoint.
Yeah, so like ideally you want to basically when you buy your first home, you want it to be a home you can grow into.
Yeah.
Essentially. You don't want to like go townhome. Let's say like you don't want to go townhome, marry somebody, and then have to move again to a home for like a small home. And then once you have kids, move again to, you want to be able to just save up for opportunity in a good home, buy it, maybe 2-3 bedroom, and then you can, if you have kids and a wife, you can grow into that house.
This is the game plan that I'm thinking. Is like get a townhome, build it up and everything. If I do start dating somebody, like obviously we're gonna have that conversation and everything about kids and everything. So when we have that conversation, it's like, all right, when do you want to have the kids and everything? What, like as a baseline, and then like what do you think we need as a home and everything, like, you know, 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, something like that. Because you just don't want to have a kid and you playing catch up, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think it's there's a lot of different avenues that I could take, but I mean it could go either way. So I just want to stay ready so I don't got to get ready, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, just living below my means, saving up my money, not screwing off with it and everything, and obviously investments too, man. I think that's the biggest thing right now. Is just I'm trying to understand where to put my investments at to where I can somewhat get, you know, some pay. And he's smiling right now because he's kind of plug for it and everything. So
bro, if you want like later when we get back to the crib, I can show you what's up, bro.
All right, cool. Because I know I've been talking to like the dude that does my taxes. He been giving me a few like pointers and everything. So yeah, I think I feel like I'm a little bit late to it, but not really late.
You're never too late.
Yeah. So
it's never too late to start.
Yeah.
There's some things like the Bitcoin wave. I try to tell people, like for example, the Bitcoin. I try to tell people like, for Bitcoin, you have to make a certain amount of money to start getting on Bitcoin now.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't get on Bitcoin back when it was $2-3 a share, or like even $100 a share, you're trying to get in now and you make $30K a year, it's too late.
Yeah, it's done.
You need to focus on something else. But if you make like crazy money, cool.
You know what? The biggest thing that I started looking into is because I don't know if this is still going to be around when we get older. And I've been asking people around it, like Social Security and everything. I don't know if that's going to be a thing when we get older, to be honest.
It's hard to tell.
I personally don't know. So what I've been doing is like, man, I think for anybody around this age is like, you know, get your Roth, and then like obviously if you got a 401k through your job and everything, if you can put at least 5% down or whatever your company matches, do it. Like, I mean, it's gonna save you in the long run and everything like that. And then obviously your Roth IRA, you can, you know, you only how much can you put? It's only $7,000. I thought it was $7,000.
I believe it's $6,000.
$6,000? I thought it was $7,000. Either way,
I think it changes depending on your age. Once you get older, I think it goes up.
Okay, but that's my plan and everything, man. Is like, I've been putting money in, but like what I really want to start doing is kind of doing the calculations of like what I need to do each month to stay on track to get to hit that cap and everything like that. Yeah.
Because ideally you want to max it out every year if you can.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And yeah, man, I'm just like, and like I said, I'm trying to live below my means and everything, because once I retire, I just want to have a boatload of money, like a boatload of money and everything. And to be honest, Finis, just the way I am, I don't think I would fully retire like when I get to like that 60 age and everything. Yeah. I think I would still have like a little part-time job or something, like, you know, 30 hours a week or whatever the case may be, just to have just some funny money coming in.
You know? It's money you just
bullshit. And like I don't know what that job will be, but just like the way that I've been working, like, you know, I got side hustles and everything that I be doing, but it's just like, yeah, man, that's my biggest thing, man. I'd rather suffer now instead of suffer when I'm 40 years old, you know? I think that's the biggest thing with me, because who knows where the economy's going to go, like inflation, if it gets... It's already inflated right now. It could... We just don't know, so...
Yeah, you hit on the head. For me, it's the investing. Right now, I'm saving anywhere from 50 to 60% of my income, which is a lot, because I'm saving it and I'm using it to pay off my debt, like down as far as I can. I have one credit card left, and so I should have all my debt paid off in the next couple months, and that I would have paid off close to 15 grand I would have paid off close to 15 grand off of 40-ish thousand I probably on average make about 40K a year between my 3 jobs, and I would have paid off close to $15,000-20-ish thousand off of 40. So literally half going saving, investing, paying off debt. And once I get my debt fully paid off, I'm going to keep saving 50 to 60%, but it's going all into investments, because my return on my investments is crazy. Like if I had crazy money that I was investing, my portfolio would be crazy. It's still does, percent wise, it does great. It's just there's not a lot in there, because I literally halted all my investing to just get rid of high debt, because like credit cards, they're pretty high debt. But now that I only have one left, I got a little bit of breathing room, because at one point I was paying $600 a month on just minimum payments between all my stuff. Just the minimum payment was $600. And if you're paying just the minimum, my Discover breaks down how long it'll take you to pay off your debt every statement. If you did just the minimum, my Discover was so high at one point, it was going to take me 35 years to pay off my credit card if I was paying just the minimum. All I could afford was to pay just the minimum at one point. But I redid my budget in January, and I've paid down so much So much to where my minimum payment now is like $150. So I'm paying way more than my minimum now because I've gotten everything down so much. But dude, like, for example, I think on average I've completely redone my portfolio. So I've done pods in the past where I have broken down what I have invested in my portfolio. I don't know what I did the last time, but from the first video I did or what I had, it's completely different. Because I used to be investing in individual stocks, but now I only invest in ETFs, which are baskets of stocks, exchange trade funds, which are basically index funds, but they trade like an individual stock. But I'm only in those because it's diversified, and I have 3 different kinds. I have a growth ETF, which is it has high value appreciation over time. I have a dividend paying one, so it doesn't grow much over time, but it pays you every month. And then I have one that's kind of like
hold on. You reinvesting that though?
Right now, everything's reinvested. I don't take any of it out.
Bet.
And then the third one is like a hybrid between growth and dividends, to where it pays me dividends. It's not monthly, it's quarterly, and it has pretty good growth over time. Mm-hmm. I believe, so overall, year by year, I make about 10, on a bad year, I'll do 10, 10%. On a really good year, I'll do 15 to 20%. So I'm kind of somewhere between maybe 15, 12-ish% on average on my return. And if you're doing 12% a year on your investment, you're doing pretty goddamn good. Because I believe the average market return is like 6%. And most years, I'll do double that. It's just I don't have a lot of money in there because I used to have a lot of money. I had a couple financial emergencies, so I had to pull out of my investments. But now I'm restacking it or whatever. But in my head, I'm like, if I get all this debt paid off, and the same money I was putting towards debt, I put towards investments.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. You golden.
Oh, good. I'm good. I can start because I have a Roth IRA through Robinhood. And so once I get to the point where I'm maxing out my Roth IRA, what I do is so this is how I explain to people, right? Because you talk about Social Security. I want to talk on that for a little bit. You're right. We don't know if it's going to be there or not by the time we get 65. And some people are trying to just get rid of it. And together, as a whole, some people are trying to keep it. We don't know. Here's my mindset on Social Security. When I get to the age where I can officially claim Social Security because I'm 65 and I quote unquote retire.
Is it 65? I thought it was 66.
It's 60. I believe
they keep on changing it, I feel like.
I believe it's 65. I do know some politicians are wanting to raise the age to kind of counteract it because like basically the money, we're running out of essentially money. There's a lot more nuance, but basically if you raise the age to claim Social Security, you can kind of counteract the amount of people using it because you raise the age, so less people will be taking it out. So you can kind of like offset a little bit or prolong the Social Security being a thing. But my mindset is I don't want to live off my Social Security. I want my Social Security to be fun money. So I want max out my Roth IRA, but with your Roth IRA, you can't use that money until you retire. You can't access it until you turn 65. Right? You can,
but you got to pay a penalty.
But there's a penalty, right?
Yeah.
But the mindset you should have is don't touch this till you turn 65. This should be the mindset, right? So I have individual investments that I can access whenever because it's just an individual brokerage account. I have my Roth IRA, and then obviously whenever I get like a legit big time job, I'll have a 401k. I'll obviously put money into that. But the Roth IRA and the 401k you can't access till you turn 65. So my goal is when I turn 65, I want to have enough money coming in dividends from my individual investments to where that's the money I'm living off of, right? Let's say you get $1 million saved up by the time you get to 65 in your investment account, right? Let's say your dividends pay you 8% on that million. That means you're going to be getting $80,000 in dividends. Living off of $80,000 is pretty. If you live below your means, now you're not going to have like a lavish lifestyle, but if you're not working from your dividends, you'll be bringing in $80,000 a year. Then
that's not accounting if you got still like I said, the side hustles and everything.
Right. If you want.
If you
could not work and still make the 80K. Then whatever your Roth IRA and your 401k makes, let's just say for math to make it easy, let's say you get 10K a year. Let's say you get 10K for your Roth IRA, 10K for your 401k. So that's 100K between those three. Then let's say your Social Security is, let's just say it's $2,000 grand a month, nothing crazy. So you got 80K, 100. So let me just do this real quick monthly. So we got 100K. And let's divide that by 12. Like, let's say you're going to budget, you divide it by 12. That's $8,300 a month. Your Social Security, you add another $2,000. That's going to be $10,333 a month. So that Social Security is just a little cherry on top. That's not what I'm going to live off of. That's my mindset with Social Security. So if it's there, cool. But if the Social Security is non-existent by the time we get 65, I'm still going to have the 100K from the investments and from the 401K and the Roth IRA.
All right, so if the Social Security not going to be there, where does that money go to? Like, because we already paying, because I'm paying into it right now and everything. Do they just take it, or are they going to put it into something else?
I don't know the nuance about the Social Security, but apparently I've heard different people say that the way it's set up, it should fund itself because people are paying into it. But I believe that there's like extra money being put in or something like that. I don't know the specific details, so I don't want to get like too into it because I don't know 100%. But theoretically, the people that are working pay the Social Security out of their check. That money is put into a pool and it is distributed to the people that are on Social Security that have retired. That's how it should work. Technically, it should fund itself, right? But from what I understand, there are more people, there's not enough people working because of the baby boomers. I think the last bit of the baby boomers are turning 65, so like the last little bit. So we're going to have a giant population claiming Social Security and not enough people working those type of jobs that take out the Social Security. From what I understand, that's how it is set up. So if they get rid of it, I don't think that we will be paying into Social Security. That would go away because there is no more Social Security. That money, I don't know if they'll find a different tax to take out or that just tax won't be a thing anymore. I'm not 100% sure how it would work. But that's why, since there's so much unknown, especially like we got a long time before we get there. So it could still be there, but the amount might be different. It might be to where it's so low by the time we get there to where it's like $1,000 a month or $700 a month. It might be gone. We don't know, but that's why I don't even want to have a mindset of depending on that. If it's there, I'll take your $1,000 a month, and then I can just put that towards a bill and just have a bill cover my Social Security, or I can take it, invest it into my individual account. I can take it and be like, I don't know. You can do whatever with it, but I'm focused on the individual brokerage account, 401k, Roth IRA. Those three together is what I want to live on.
You know what we need to do too?
What?
I think it's always good to have obviously a savings account and everything, but I think I need to get one with Fidelity, the high yield account and everything. I haven't got that yet. Man. And I've been messing out.
I can set you one up today.
Okay.
For free.
Okay.
Because my Robinhood is my savings is in my Robinhood. It's a high yielding. I get 4.5% APR.
Yeah, because like the one I think with Bank of America is like 1%. Like you ain't really.
It's probably 0.01%.
Yeah, you ain't getting shit from it. So it's just like I'd rather. But the thing about it, it's still good to have that and everything, just in case. I feel like that's gonna be like my emergency fund. Like,
well, yeah, you want so. Well, the way you want it is you want to have not even so. There's two types of savings account. There's a savings account that you have saved up for emergencies, like an emergency fund. That it's fine to have. It's just a regular bank account that has a it's not even about the APR. That one is for emergencies. You need it liquid. Liquid is how quickly you can get that money.
Yeah.
So let's say technically the rule of thumb back in the day, learned in the financial class I've taken, you're supposed to have 6 months expenses in that savings emergency fund. It's not realistic, but let's say you have $2,000, $5,000 in there. You just leave the $5,000. You leave that there, and then all your other savings you would put in the high yield saving, whether it's Robinhood, Fidelity, wherever. So you're getting interest on that money as you're saving, and then that can be reinvested into something else, or you want part of your portfolio to be cash. You want some of it to be cash because the stabilizer to where if the market goes down, you have a portion of your portfolio that's not going to go down because it's just cash, right? Yeah. Not only that, but it actually goes up because you're going to get 4.5%. So let's say let's say you have a third of your money in just cash at the 4.5%. Let's say the other 2/3, the market does absolutely terrible that year and it drops massively. You still have at least a third of your portfolio that is going to make you 4.5% guaranteed. And if that 4.5% after inflation, which is about 2.5% on average, you're pretty much going to have cash that is inflation resistant, to where even if you account for inflation, you're going to at least make 2.5% worst case scenario. Worst case scenario on that cash. But you want the 5K. So like, let's say for some reason you're driving, boom, bam, engine blows out. And if you have a high yield invest and savings account, a lot of those take days for you to get that money out, because it is technically invested in a brokerage account. But let's say the engine costs you $3,000, you have $5,000 in that savings. It takes you 30 seconds to go into your Regions app or whatever,
and just transfer that shit.
Transfer it, and bam, you can pay for the car. That's how those savings accounts, in my mind, are really supposed to be used as an emergency fund, where you can access it right now. Because with Robinhood, you can pull out the money in your brokerage. You can do the instant deposit. They charge a fee, and which is fine for some. If you need it now, technically it's still pretty liquid if you're willing to take the fee, and it's not crazy. If you take out I don't know what the percent is, but it charges you a fee for the instant deposit. But if you don't want to do that, it takes about 5 days for that money to go into your bank account. So having liquid money in your savings is good to have, as well as a high interest savings account. If that makes sense. So you're getting that 4.5. And what I like about Robinhood, I don't know how other companies work, and this is not like a Robinhood promo. I've used Robinhood since 2014. So it's worked for me really well. I'm not a day trader. I save and hold. I'm a dividend guy, so I'm not like day trading, because there is some, like, if you're a day trader, Robinhood, like, they make money per transaction. So technically, the more you buy and sell, they make more money. I don't operate like that, so it's a little different for me. But what I like about Robinhood is your 4.5%, it tells you how much you've made that month, and it gets paid to you at the end of the month, the interest you made that month. So that, even on the 4.5%, it's compounding. So if you have $1,000 and you get 4.5%, what is that, 40? Is that $45? Am I doing that right? I think. Hold on, I want to get these numbers right. I believe I might be missing carry. I gotta think. Oh shit, hold on. Is that 4.5%? That's 45. Hold on.
Some quick math real quick.
Yeah, I was right. I just want to make sure. So if I have $1,000 at 4.5%, it's $45. But so divide the $45 by 12. If I have $1,000 in my 4.5% brokerage account, at the end of the month, I'm going to get $3.75. But that $3.75 is going to be put into my account at the end of the month. So next month, I'm making 4.5% on $1,003.75. So it's a higher number. So at the end of the month, I'm going to get more than $45 because it recompounds every month. So the second month, I'm going to get, for example, let's do what'd I say? $45? Or no, so God damn it, 375. So the second month, I'm going to get 4.5% on $1,003.75. So then it's 0.045. So divide by the 12. So the next month, it's not going to be a big difference, but the next month, it's $33.76. That's going to be put back. So then the second month, it's $1,007 some change. So it really compounds to where it's going to be more than $45 at the end of the year. And that's if you don't add any more money. But at the end of the month, whatever I have left over, that is going into it. Some of it goes into my ETFs. And I always, whenever I put money in my Robinhood, I distribute it evenly. So I have 3 ETFs cash. So I split them to 4. So if I put $1,000 in there, 250 stays in cash, 250 goes into one ETF, 250 goes in the other ETF, and 250 goes in the other ETF. So I have an even distribution. So at the end of the month, it's going to be $1,250 plus the $3.75. That's how compounding interest, it's going to be more than $45 at the end of the year.
Okay.
That's how that works with that. Bro, I'm still sweating from that workout.
And we've been done for over an hour. I cooled off a little bit, though.
This financial talk gets me going. But yeah, dude, I've been in it. I've been investing since 2014. And I feel like my experience is just from, I've made some mistakes. I'll tell you that. I've made some mistakes, but I've gotten to the point
That's
now
just the
where
financial game you gonna make. I mean, in life, you just gonna make mistakes. It's just
as
like,
long as you learn from them.
yeah.
Because, bro, let me tell you, I had GameStop. You know about the GameStop thing?
What do you mean about the GameStop thing?
Where the people on Reddit with GameStop, it started to boom when the price went up like a crazy.
Why'd it go up?
People on Reddit, so basically these hedge funds were betting against GameStop. Basically, hedge funds were betting that GameStop was going to fail and their market was going to go down, right?
Mm-hmm.
So people on Reddit got together and were going to buy into GameStop to basically screw these people out of money for hedge funds. Because if they hedge against, the hedge funds hedge against GameStop, but GameStop does well, the hedge fund loses money. If the GameStop does bad, because they're betting it goes bad, they make money.
Mm-hmm.
So these people already got together and were putting money into GameStop for it to go up so these hedge funds can lose money. I had GameStop got cheap, and my dumbass, technically, if I'm being honest with you, looking at their numbers and what they were doing at the time, it was a terrible investment.
Mm-hmm.
It was losing money year over year. You don't want to buy a stock that loses money year over year. Everything was going digital. So if you're a logical investor, you're going to look at GameStop and be like, this is not something to invest in because digital games is the new wave. People are moving away from physical discs. GameStop was going to go out of business, right? And so you wouldn't invest in it. I invested in it because it was cheap, right? This is like my early investment days. I'm like, oh, I like GameStop. I'm investing in a company I like. Yes, you should invest in a company you like, but you also need to look at their numbers and invest in a company you like that you think is going to be around long term. I don't think GameStop was going to be around long term, but I like GameStop. That's where I got my games as a kid. I bought a bunch of stock GameStop because it got cheap.
Mm-hmm.
It started doing so bad. I was losing so much money on it.
Mm-hmm.
I sold it, right? And I sold it a year before the GameStop boom happened, right? Bro, when I saw this on the internet and they were talking about GameStop.
Sick. That boy was sick as hell. Just the money, and you know what sucks, bro? It's just like, I think that's the hardest thing about investing is like, all right, I'm putting all this money into it and it's not working out. But you still have to remind, just like, I just want to be ready when it does have that big boom.
But that's everything. The thing, the GameStop thing, that's not normal.
Mm-hmm. So
if you are looking at in a regular situation, what I did was smart. I sold before I lost any more money. I took that money, I reinvested somewhere else, and I've made my money back from that since then.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what you should have done. The whole GameStop, that's not like normal how things go.
Mm-hmm.
Like to this day, I still don't suggest you put money in GameStop.
Yeah.
Because I don't know how sustainable it is unless GameStop changed their business model and finds a way to go digital where people can buy digital games through GameStop. I don't know how that would work. But that's a one-off because that's not normal. That's not generally how things work. But I would have made 6 figs if I had kept the shares that I had and sold at the height of GameStop. But I didn't. But the GameStop is a one-off. But that's why I don't invest in individual stocks anymore. Mm-hmm. I only invest in a basket of stocks because I have money in the VGT, which is the Vanguard Technologies. It's VTG. It's one of those, but it's the Vanguard Technologies index. Basically, it's every tech company. Tech has been the most lucrative sector in the economy for the past 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. And that's my growth ETF. And it has every publicly traded tech company in this basket. So like NVIDIA, and then there's people that manage it. So NVIDIA wasn't one of the top companies in there. Now it is because NVIDIA does so well. NVIDIA, Apple, Google, Microsoft, etc., etc. And what I like about it is, let's say like NVIDIA had a big drop, right? Mm-hmm. What happens is it doesn't match. So there's like a small picture, big picture. With the ETF, so if you own NVIDIA individually, if you own a tech company individually and that company does bad, it's going to have a bigger impact on your portfolio because you have money in that individual stock, depending on how you split up what you have in there. But it's going to have a big impact. First, if you have this basket, sure, a tech company in there might go down, but you have all these other companies that do well to where the overall index still is doing well, even though there's a company that's dropped.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter about these small companies that are doing bad. It's about the big picture. What is the entire index fund doing? Mm-hmm. And so that's why I like investing in ETFs because it's very, very diversified. And it's it's a easy, like, you don't have to like look and like, okay, what tech company should I buy? No, I'll just throw it in there and then it does its thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's how that's why I like to go more ETFs than individual companies.
Yeah, because if the individual company goes down and everything, that's everything. But you got a diversified portfolio. It may drop a little bit, but like you got other things to kind of make up.
And then normally, and then when it does drop, it usually bounces back. There's always a correction, and then that's why you got to look when I look at a ETF or a stock. Don't just look at the past year. Go to like all or max. It shows you the long run. How much has it, you can look at, let's say you look at the 20-year data. Let's say it's gone up 1,000% over the past 20 years. All you do is you take 1,000 divided by 20. Let me see. 1,000 divided by 20. It's gonna, on average, it's gone up 50% every year. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, that seems like a good investment. And I can basically, in my head, predict that for the next 20 years, it's probably going to do 50% on average for the next 20 years. There might be a little bit of plateau, but if over 20 years, if it's done nothing but gone up, it's safe to say that that ETF is still going to go up over time. That's generally that's the way I simplify it in my head. Mm-hmm. Versus if I go to a 10 or 20 year outlook, and over 20 years, it's gone down 30%. I'm like, 30%? It's negative 30% over 20 years. That means on average, it's not doing well. Your money is going down over year. Mm-hmm. I don't have a single ETF. And then I had a couple individual stocks. I did not have a single stock or a single ETF over the 20-year or max outlook that it was negative. It was negative over that long run. Mm-hmm. It might have had a year where it was negative. Might have a couple years where it was negative, but over the long haul, it has always been green. That's the biggest thing for me. The number one thing is, number two, for me, I want dividends. Mm-hmm. That is a check that it gets paid to you for being a partial owner of that ETF or company, whatever it is. I want a check for owning a piece of that company. So I do not invest in anything that doesn't pay ETFs or doesn't pay dividends, except for crypto. I have just a little bit of crypto, but the crypto is more of a gamble, and I hope this blows up in the next 30 years. Like, I mean, I'm playing the long run.
That Shiba Inu, yeah.
Yeah, I have Shiba Inu. So my goal with Shiba Inu, I just needed to hit $1 by 2040, 2050, or even 50 cents, right? Because but I don't even
to be honest, Finis, the way, the many shares I got, if it hits 50 cents, cool. If it hits that $1,
if it's
that $1,
I'm good.
Jesus.
But there's no guarantee it will hit $1. But that's why that's one, I don't like to talk about it because I just have money in there. If it blows up, great. If it doesn't, I'm still okay because the majority of my focus is the dividends and the ETFs. Mm-hmm. And I don't have a single one that doesn't pay a dividend. And so the biggest thing is, for me personally, dividends, positive growth over the whole outlook of the company. For me personally, I feel like if you focus on those two things, you'll be good in the long run.
Yeah.
My personal opinion.
Yeah.
Dividends. I want to check whether it's quarterly, semi-annually, monthly. I want to check because I own a piece of that company. 100%. Just broke it down for you guys. Free game.
Damn. For real, free game.
Free game.
Free game. Only thing you gotta do is just open up your ears and your eyes. Just pay attention.
Now, and everybody I come across, I try to tell them to start. The earlier you start, the better off you'll be. And it doesn't take. I try to tell people it doesn't take much. For some reason, people think you need to start with that. You know what I started with when I first started investing? I started $5.
For real.
$5.
When I got my Roth and everything, the only thing I looked at, because I started when I first started like my actual job and everything, and I've almost been there for 5 years, just putting just $100 in each month and everything. Yeah. Where I looked at it, I was just like, even though the economy's kind of bad right now and everything, so it went down, but I looked at it, and then I looked at my 401k and stuff, because I've been bouncing back and everything. When I first started, I put like 10% in it for like the for the first like 2 years and everything. I was like, hold on, bro, let me dial this back a little bit to 5.
But
and
that's good,
everything.
though.
No, I know.
If you can afford it, that's good.
But like I started dialing it back and everything, but I started looking at it, I'm like, all right. That's when I started kind of saying like, all right, if I
it starts to add up.
But I was just like, hold on, like, let me start trying to try to max it out. Like once I get all this debt and everything, kind of like minimize a little bit and everything, I can start putting a little bit more in. That's what I'm thinking, like, okay, how much is it that I need to put in a month to hit that 6,000 or 7,000 cap and everything like that? What can I do? And it really does too. Whatever company y'all work for and everything, y'all need to see what they match you at and everything too. That's another thing that y'all need to because that's free money too as well.
Yeah, free money.
So it's just like take advantage of it and everything. That's what I say, man. And then obviously, use your Roth, your 401k, but it's always good to like start investing in something that. And you know what somebody told me? They said when you start investing, invest in the things that you like and that that's gonna be like there forever, like waste management and everything.
Yeah.
Like that type of
hygiene stuff.
Yeah, hygiene
I feel
stuff.
like toothpaste is probably gonna be around for a very long time.
Unless
stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's that type of stuff. Like logistical work and everything.
Yeah.
Like we're always gonna have trucks, fly, like planes and everything that has to fly to deliver stuff, even export, import, all that different stuff. So it's like y'all gotta look at stuff that's forever gonna be around.
Medical industry.
Exactly. It's kind of like when you go into a career and everything. It's like what career is gonna be there for the long term? Like you're always gonna have financial advisors and everything. Tech is
the way we're moving. Tech's going to be around probably forever.
Oh my God! I mean, like
it might change how it looks, but tech is the new wave,
dude. Like I mean, like into it, like your Amazons, your Googles, and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Everything now is going to be. There's really no. Because I work in tech and everything. I don't really work in tech. I'm just like a technical recruiter, so I hear all the talk and everything.
Yeah.
Y'all better start investing into like cloud-based stuff because there's all this databases and everything. They're taking those off-prem. Like this thing right here. You know how you can pay like an extra like $5 a month to get like another like cloud storage and everything?
Oh yeah.
Just think about that.
$9.99 for like the terabyte or 2 terabyte.
Think about that on a larger scale with these companies.
Yeah, but what is it? The Amazon's their cloud servers. They partner with the CIA. The CIA stores their stuff on Amazon's like cloud servers.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you know what's funny about it? My company has hired people to go and take those like, and it's all a bunch of different like job positions and everything. It's like ETL developers where they take the data from in the database and push it to the cloud services and everything.
Yeah.
And then you got like data technicians and everything that are literally taking the servers and stuff out and then putting that to like there's so much stuff that's going on in tech that I'm kind of thankful for that I'm knowing what's kind of going on and everything. Oh no, I'm good, bro. He put out the jug. But no, I'm serious, guys. Like look into tech and everything as far as investments because it's not going anywhere and everything like that. I mean, yeah, just do your research and everything like that. So
$5. I started with $5. I literally like the most I could afford was like $5 or $10 every paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And I just over time and eventually, you get a raise, you find a better job. I started putting 10 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
Then I started. Now what I do is I save up to see whatever I have at the end of the month, and I put in
what you can.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a bigger chunk, but I use Robinhood. Acorns is another good one. I will shout out Acorns because I originally started on Acorns before I got to Robinhood.
I had a love-hate relationship with Acorn. I like the interface with Robinhood because it has like the data points and everything, and it's like live stuff.
Well, the Robinhood is supposed to be. So the Robinhood with the data stuff, so for some people that's intimidating because they don't know how to read it. It's too much. With Acorns, they ask you some questions. How much risk are you willing to take? And they ask you all these questions of what's your goal? Are you trying to save for retirement? Are you trying to save for whatever? How much risk are you wanting to do? And then literally all you do is put the money in. It does everything else for you. It's the most, I think that's the easiest one to start with because I started with Acorns and all I was doing was $5. I would throw it in. It would invest it for you and you could just watch it grow over time.
Mm-hmm.
So for people, because Robinhood is a little more like individualized, if you want to take a little more control, I think starting at Acorns is a good spot. Once you feel confident, you've done like the amount of research I did when I started on Acorns. Then I wanted to learn how stock market works, how to read the tickers for these companies. once I learned that and I felt comfortable, I moved to Robinhood so I could be a little more control of what I can buy, what I can sell, this, that, and the third. But I think if the whole picking individual stocks and the whole knowing what to invest, if that's too much, just get an Acorns, put your money in, it will do everything for you. Mm-hmm. Acorns is probably the easiest way to do it because it's the most hands-off for your investment. Now it's got, I got Acorns back again just to diversify. So I have a Robinhood and an Acorn. I don't have much in my Acorn because I prioritize the Robinhood, but Acorn, it's a little, you can set it up now to be a little more hands-on. So like 60% of it, they invest themselves. And then the other 40%, I have it in the two ETFs that I wanted. But every time I put money in, it automatically takes 60% to put in their little thing. The other 40% they put in mine. Mm-hmm. So I have a little bit more control. And it's the same ETFs I have in my my Robinhood. It's the, is it 2 or 3? I forget if I did all 3, but I know for sure it's at least 2. And then I just put it in, and it automatically distributes it for you. Mm-hmm. So it's the easiest form. So I definitely, and then you can start with $5 and just.
That's the thing. I think people like you said. I think that's where people get hung up and everything. Is just like they want to throw so much money into it when you first start out. It's just like you don't need that.
It doesn't take all that.
You don't need that. And I feel like I was the same way until I didn't even look at my 401k. I think the first time I looked at my 401k, my Roth and everything was probably about like 2.5 years after. I low-key forgot about it, to be honest.
That's honestly the best mindset is to forget about it.
Yeah.
Have it automatic because I assume you have to where auto takes it out.
Oh yeah, it all takes it out, yeah.
Auto take out, set your percent, forget about it. Don't even think, just let it compound. And then when you look 5-10 years down the road, you're gonna be like, oh shit.
Cause that's the thing, cause like I think I was sitting at my desk one day and like I got an email from cause I go through Edward Jones and everything. Yeah. I got an email that said like something about tax information, and I don't really check like my personal email that much to be honest, cause I don't have a lot of stuff coming through. So I saw that, I was like, what the fuck, like what's this? And I logged in and everything. I forgot my password and everything, so I did password reset. So I looked it up. I said, oh, I said just 100 a month. I said,
it adds up.
Let me start seeing the 250 and everything. You know,
adds
so
up, bro.
Yeah, man. So
it's
that's
the
what
long haul.
That's what really kind of got me like a little bit more interested in it. But yeah, man, like
it's the long haul. It's about being patient, bro.
For sure.
It's about being patient.
But yeah. Great talks, my boy.
Oh, yeah.
I think we went on to like a financial thing without even really planning for it.
We went deep. It's motivation. I feel like in this country, the way the capitalist system is set up, like, a lot of people say, oh, money isn't everything. It's not. But I think what most people want is the financial freedom to do things that they like. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily about like the money and having all this money. It's just people be like, for example, I think a lot of people would love to be in a situation to where whatever standard of living they have, if they had enough money to sustain their standard of living, but made enough money to where they had excess money to travel more, travel 3-4 times of the year. And I think people would be perfectly happy with having a job they enjoy working at, that they make enough money to where they have excess money to, they want to go on a trip, they can go on a trip. If they want to do these things that they love doing, they have the financial freedom to do so. Or when people get to retirement age, they have enough in their Roth IRA or their traditional Roth or their 401k to when they retire, they have enough money coming in to go on cruises and travel the world, do all this, that, and the third, and they might not even be making that much money. They might, if their house is paid, let's say mortgage is paid off by the time they retire, they still stay in that house, so no mortgage. Let's say maybe a car note or two, and just your standard bills. You got that. And if your house is paid off and your 401k and Roth or whatever gets you $5,000, $4,000 a month with no mortgage. Yeah. I feel like a lot of people would be in a pretty happy place. For sure. It's about the financial freedom.
For sure.
But I want the money.
We all want the money.
Yeah.
But don't be greedy when you get the money. Because that shit can be taken from you easily.
100%. I want to start a charity and stuff and a scholarship fund.
I thought about that too, man, but I don't know what it would be. I don't know what it would like
some type of like philanthropy or stuff like that.
I thought about one for like, because obviously my mom's single parent and everything, and I have like a really big soft spot for single parents and everything. I just don't know how I would do it or how I would get the fund, like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the logistics behind it and everything, or like underprivileged kids and everything like that.
Yeah. Well, let's get into that. What are some things that you would want to do in terms of giving back if you came across the business opportunity or the financial means to do it?
Dude, just like underprivileged kids just don't, like, let's say like in like Metro Nashville, they just don't really get to see like the better side of life and everything, or they don't have a mentor to kind of show them and everything like that. And I hate to say this, but it's like you kind of are a product of your environment if you don't change your ways or have somebody that looks out for you and everything. And I think the biggest thing right now is that, like, I think a lot of, like, you know, like, what's the word that I'm looking for? I forgot. It just, you know, different ethnicities and everything. Like, you're in STEM, right?
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people in just, like, underprivileged communities think that, like, oh, that's nerdy, blah, 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 blah. No, like, yeah, it might be and everything, but, like, those are the jobs that are paying and everything like that. I mean, you can talk, I mean, Xavier, same thing and everything like that, man.
Shout out Xavier.
Yeah.
Big X.
And I think people just look like us and everything, just like they don't have that type of, like, you know, guidance and everything like that. Yeah. Luckily, my mom, we moved from Michigan and everything, not the best place to live, moved down to Franklin. I guarantee you, Finis, if I stayed in Michigan, we would not be sitting here right now.
Yeah.
We would not be sitting here right now, and I don't know what the hell I would be doing up there in Michigan right now. Probably not the best things, to be honest. But I think it's just like you got to have those type of people to kind of show you a different way. And I mean, I think like my coaches and everything just through high school, you know, just to kind of just, you know, say, hey man, like, you fucking up. Like, you got to do something and everything like that. I think it's that, and then just showing people like there's a different way of life just from where you live and everything like that, you know?
Yeah. Now, break it down. So you talk about, you know, under single parents and underrepresented or underprivileged kids. I don't know if you've thought about this, but like maybe let's say you start your foundation. Logistically, like what would be something your foundation does to help those kids? Or help the single parents?
That's something I'm gonna have to think about. For like the single parents, is like I feel like there has to be like some type of standard, like, because you can't be fucking off and everything and thinking that you're gonna get help and everything. You have to show that you're at least trying or something for somebody to kind of help you out and everything.
Right.
Now for the kids and everything, I don't know, man. That's the thing. I don't know if it's like, you know, you get them into like a certain type of like, cause I know there's some like, there's some professional athletes and everything that like Russell Westbrook, he goes back to his community and everything. He has his own AAU team and everything. He pulls them out, showing them a different way and everything like that. I don't know if I would want to do it that same kind of framework or anything. I just don't know. I think that's something that I would have to brainstorm about and see what it looks like and everything. Like I said, that's just a thought, a knowledge of it. I just haven't took a deep dive into it just yet, you know?
Yeah. I know for me there's two things I really want to do. One is I want to start, and I guess I could run the same like umbrella like organization or charity or foundation, whatever, but two things. The number one thing is I want to create like a workforce that goes out and cleans the city. Of like I wanted to start in Nashville where literally I hire people to go in trucks and they go around the city and they clean up like graffiti. They literally will go by and for like somehow we paint houses, like kind of fix up their neighborhood, but I don't want to like
gentrify.
I don't want to like fix up to where they get priced out of their homes. Yeah. I want to go through and I want it to be a charity so where they're not paying for it. Maybe we select a house or two, goes, hey, you know, we're going to fix your yard, your fence, we're going to get you a new door, like fix up their house for free, and then, you know, help them out with you know, fix up their house. this, that, and the third. And I want to, send people out where if there's trash on the interstates, on the roads, downtown, and they're like sewers, and you see all that gunk when it rains. I want to go through and literally just have basically not a trash, but people that literally just go around picking up trash. And then pay, and like well compensate those people for those jobs. And then I want to hire people that are not so well off. You see what I'm saying? Like maybe hire people that are struggling, like, hey, we'll pay you $25, $30 an hour for this job, and kind of give them good benefits, help those people create a life for themselves as well, with great benefits, insurance, health, whatever. The second thing I want to start is a scholarship fund, but I want it to be different. I don't know how scholarship funds, the details of them work, but I know for mine, I want it to be a all-encompassing scholarship fund, because as someone that's been on scholarship, having a scholarship is great. I'm very fortunate for it, but even people that have scholarships, they still have to work when they're in school. I want my scholarship fund to pay for their tuition, pay for room and board, and I also want to give them a stipend so they don't have to work in college. They can focus on their school, focus on their degree, graduate, and then be set up for success and not have to worry about, I'm on scholarship, but I still got to pay rent, I still got to pay bills, still got to eat. I want it to literally pay for everything plus a monthly stipend that's, I guess, calculate wherever they go to school, the cost of living, how much they would need for like your standard expenses, food, and the gas in the area, this, that, and the third, to where they're getting a stipend every month to pay for their necessities, pay for food, even throw in, I understand there's a social aspect, you want to be able to live, maybe throw in a little extra for being able to like do stuff and not like have to penny pitch on a scholarship. So I want to be full encompassing, and just send people, and obviously, they got to maintain a certain grade point average. They got to like show proof or there's transcript every year to make sure they're actually like applying themselves, like no bullshit. Like nobody's gonna, you're not gonna be on scholarship and just be fucking off. Be bullshit. But do that to where they can go to school fully, have a stipend, don't have to work, focus on school. Those are the really two things. I kind of think it'd be cool to set up how LeBron has set up, to where if you graduate from his like high school, you automatically get a scholarship to Akron. I think it'd be cool to go back to Independence or maybe a couple schools in Nashville if it gets big enough, because scholarship, it takes a lot of money, especially these people that are going like these big schools, out-of-state tuitions like crazy. Like out-of-state tuition in Missouri was like $36,000 a year. You know what I'm saying? Paying that for 4 years plus a stipend and all that stuff, it's a lot. But if it got big enough, partner up with schools in Nashville, and then obviously I want to eventually get outside Nashville and just I want to be able to send like 100,000 kids to school on a scholarship fund, or more if I could, if I'd be blessed enough to do that. But, oh my God, I forgot where I was going. What was I saying? Send them to school.
I know it's like you said, if it could get up to like.
Oh yeah, partner with like the different high schools to where if you graduate with a certain GPA, you automatically, from specific schools, you automatically get the scholarship to go to whatever school you want. And like kind of thing that, like that.
Or have you ever thought about it? Like take like the top, like let's say if, depending on like the demographics, if you want to do like in Williamson County, obviously I know Independence is going to be on the list because we graduated from there. And then like maybe you pick like a few metro schools or like somewhere in Rutherford County. Would you think that like the top 3 performers like graduating that year, like, are going to be the people?
I want anybody. I want anybody that has a like, let's just say for example a 3.5 or higher. If you get a 3 point, kind of like the Hope.
Yeah.
If you get a 3.5 or higher, you get a Hope Scholarship. The Hope Scholarship's like, it's not a lot. It's like $2,000. So it's like, if you get 3.5 or higher and you graduate, you're in. You go whatever school you want, fully paid, stipend, all of that.
Yeah.
Give people opportunities. They don't have to go in debt, because one of the biggest forms of debt besides medical is student debt. You can go to school, and when you graduate, you haven't taken out any loans, you're not in any debt. That's like something really big that I want to eventually get to the point, if I can. It's right now, it's a dream. I got to graduate first myself and get a job, and I got to get the money for this. But that is like a huge bucket list dream thing I want to be able to do for students. And then I want to start obviously with my people in the African American community, but then I just want to send white, black, brown, blue, purple,
orange.
I want to have opportunities for everybody.
Yeah.
I don't want it to, obviously I want to start small. Maybe like when I start small, I can only do like 1 or 2 students a year. Finding a process where I can, pick people or whatever. But eventually I want it to get to where it don't matter where you're from, who you are, your background. If you applied yourself in high school, you get a good GPA, and if you want to go to college, you automatically have it. Yeah, that'd be the goal.
That's real.
That'd be the goal. All right, Calvin, we're getting ready to wrap up, and what I like to do is ask a question, and then I like for you to leave a question for somebody that's going to be the next guest. So let me ask, since your situation with work is very chaotic right now.
Better word, toxic.
What would be, and you also work in recruiting, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is something that maybe people don't know that they're, before getting to the workforce, what are some things they need to have in order when it comes to getting into the workforce and getting a job?
Man, do your research, and I think the best thing is the internet, the phone, everything's at our disposal. So do your research on the company, as far as like work-life balance, what they can provide for you and everything. And if you really want to take a deep dive in everything, make a LinkedIn profile. Look at people that formerly work with the company, not people that actually work currently with the company and everything. Because the people that don't work for the company,
they'll give you your honest.
They'll give the honest opinion and everything. And then when you get into the interview phase and everything, man, just ask a lot of different questions, man, of just like, give me a high level overview of like the day, a week in this position. Who will I be working with and everything? What are the things that the company is struggling with, and that can be internal or external and everything. Talk about obviously career growth and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody in this workforce wants to be stagnant. You don't want to be at the same position for the rest of your life. That's why people, and the funny thing about it is that, I work in recruiting, and it's funny because when you see a gap on somebody's resume, they automatically think, oh, they can't hold down a job or anything. That's not the case, bro. You need to talk to people because maybe they had to take care of a sick family member or something like that. Mom and dad were getting older and they had to step away for a minute. Mm-hmm. Women have, kids and everything back to back. And then, it's kind of hard for them to get back into the workforce because childcare nowadays, it's like a second rent and everything, man. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's why you see a lot of guys just say, hey, I'll get a second job, whatever the case may be, stay at home with the kid until we can take them to like first grade or something like that, and I've seen that so many times and everything, and people just like, they've been out of the workforce, but it's just like that's life happens, like life be lifing, especially nowadays and everything, so it's like, honestly, do your research, get on the internet, do that, ask former people that work for the company of their experience and everything. And then when you do get into that interview phase, just have a list of different questions. Maybe during conversation they may ask and everything like that. That's great that they checked off of the box, but have some questions. And what I tell people too as well, when I get people in the interview phase, I talk to managers and everything about their roles and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, what are you looking for? Blah, 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 blah. They give me the information.
Mm-hmm.
I repeat that as best as I can to them and everything, give them the most information. But then I go into it of like interview prep. I interview prep everybody and everything like that. So they know what type of questions, how to respond to it.
Right.
And then I give them a section of different questions that they can ask. And I always say this. Even though that these people are interviewing you, you're interviewing them to make sure that it's going to be a great fit for you. Yeah. Ask about some people don't like asking this, like, what's the culture like and everything.
Yeah.
You have to to be honest, like, with me, is like, if I make like 60 to 80K or whatever, and it's a great environment, cool. I get up, I know it's going to be a good day. I'm not going into some bullshit.
Yeah.
But there's people, bro, that will literally sell their soul for a company. They're like, yeah, I made 200K and everything, but, I don't like what I do. that's draining.
Yeah.
That is so draining, man. Like, and I get the money and everything, but at some point you're gonna get fed up with it. I'm just being honest. I've seen it with in my company, other people and everything. Like, it's not worth it. You know, you walk in with a bad attitude and everything like that. I personally have done that before, of just weeks of just BS, and it's not healthy, man. It's really not healthy. Yeah. But my thing I didn't mean to get off topic or anything like that, but man, do your research, ask those tough questions, and really, really dig into it and everything.
And then I have a quick follow-up. What are some skills, like let's say they're in high school going straight into workforce or college getting their degree and trying to get a job. What are some skills people should be working on? Maybe, and then even past the interview phase, but maybe just skills they need to work on to succeed in the workforce. So I know, like, one thing I want to mention real quick, I think it's important that a lot of people don't start until way later. Start your resume early.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Any volunteer work you do in high school, any type of leadership role you have in high school or college, start a resume and add that stuff, update it as you go. I've had a CV, which is like an academic version of a resume. I'll have a regular resume I use for, like, you know, where Shoe Palace, Pizza Hut. And I have a CV, which is like all the talks I've given, presentations, posters I've given, like posters I've given at conferences. I have basically 2 resumes, one academic, one regular. And I've had my regular resume since high school. And as I volunteer or do things or work at different jobs, I add as I go. So when it's time, I got it all ready to go. Same thing with every time I give a talk, every time I present something, I do any type of volunteer work, I add it to my CV. Having a resume is vitally important, and start that early so you're not go through college and high school and then you're trying to figure out, oh, what did I...
That bullshit.
Bro,
that bullshit.
I got a text about some unpaid toll bill when I went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Which is some bullshit.
Yeah.
Sorry, people are trying to scam us. So what are some skills or some assets? Like, the resume would be a good asset. Well, resume is almost necessary, but like starting it early is very, very beneficial. What are some skills people should be working on when it comes to getting into the workforce and then being successful in the workforce? Just like maybe like 2 or 3 skills or assets.
Communication, be able to communicate. That's a big one. I mean, like, I know that, and this is where I think I messed up at in college, is that where I think I should have done it, but this was just me just kind of just skipping around and everything. Try to take a public speaking class.
Yes.
Try to take a public speaking class, because there is so many times, because like I said, in my line of work, I deal with people that are just getting out of like TCAT school, which is like where they get like the CompT and everything like that, you know, and then, you know, recent graduates. Learn how to, because like, and I have to really coach these guys up and everything, and it's not to them like just because like they're young and everything. They really just don't honestly know. They just never had somebody to say like, hey, this is how you kind of conduct yourself and everything like that. I would say communication. Try to take a public speaking class or something, or, you know, just try to get, like, when you're doing presentations and everything for like classes, try to, I guess people really don't even practice this anymore, of just like figure out what you're going to say and how you're going to lead into the next topic and everything.
Like the flow.
The flow
Be
of
able
it.
to communicate and flow where it's easy to follow along and it makes sense.
Another thing too, having people that can vouch for you, because nowadays it's not what to be honest, I think just in my line of work, I feel like I got the best looking resume. To be honest, and that's just me just being like I'm confident in myself and everything. Right. But man, if you don't, this is in the generation now, if you don't know anybody, like, you can't get to that next level. So networking is a big thing. You know, and I think people kind of shy away from that, and I'm guilty of that too. I just started doing the networking probably like 2 years ago and everything, because I just didn't know what to do just as far as that. You have to have people vouch for you and everything to get into these special places, and it doesn't matter the skill level. It doesn't matter, you know, what you've done in the past. Like, it's in business. People buy from people that they like. You don't buy from somebody that you don't like. Right. That doesn't go hand in hand. So I would say communication, networking, and the last thing, man, and it's so minimal, present yourself well. Like, really present yourself well. Like, if you're going into like a meeting or something like that, or like an interview, put a suit on. put a suit on and everything, man. I think that says a lot about just your character, and obviously show up to the interview early and everything like that.
It's that first impression.
First impression is big, and I'm big with first impressions and everything too.
You only get one.
You really only get one, man. You really only get one, and then this might be a little kind of out the box and everything, but like get your little portfolio. Have like your resume printed out on like some good like resume paper or something like that. Have three resumes and everything like that of your own, and like when you sit down, depending on if you can know who's going to be in the interview, print like if there's 4 people in the interview, print out 4 of your resume. Be like, hey, like I just want you guys to have this, and we can walk through my resume, my bullet points,
receipts.
Receipts. Yes, it's just like, hey, like, and then and obviously the end of the thing too. What I tell people is like, and I tell people when I do recruiting is like, hey, like, send a thank you note, because these people are taking time out of their day.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, take time. They're taking time out of their day to interview you, and they could be using that 30-minute, an hour block to be doing something else for the company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, do that and everything, send that follow-up letter, and then, I'm not saying that you're going to get the job, but it really says like, hey, this guy understands time.
And they take initiative.
My thing is like, time is money. Like you don't want to screw off on time and everything, man. So those are like the little 3 to 4 things that I would say and everything like that.
Yeah.
For like just newcomers just getting into the workforce and everything like that. So there's a bunch more, but I think that's like the big 3 or big 4 you could say. Yeah,
I just want to add one thing going off that networking. I don't care who you are, what you do, get some business cards.
Ooh.
The networking, because I started networking when I started going to conferences. It is 10 times easier to network if you have a business card. You meet somebody at a conference, you meet somebody somewhere, and it could be the smallest thing. If you think this person could potentially be an asset to you later, or you could be an asset to them, maybe y'all had a 5-10 minute conversation. Hey, conversation was great. Here's my business card. If you need me for anything, let me know. Or if there's any way I can help, any way I could be of service or whatever, here's my card. They may never call you, but you never know. You might be somewhere and they see your business card, like, this person might be interested. You never know. And just being able to hand one out, they have your information. And you just need, like, I set up my professional Gmail. I set up a professional Gmail, so I make business cards. I have a Gmail to that. You don't even have to, give out your phone number if you don't have a work number. But set up a professional Gmail, because not your my one I made when I was like middle school's FLS4 swag. Like I'm not walking around with that. I have a professional Gmail that I make business cards, and then give it out, and in that way, if you get an email through that email, it's probably business related or some type of opportunity. Business cards is super easy. You can just hand them out. But I think that's good. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been another great episode of Uncle Strib. We'll catch you guys next time. All right, bet.
I'm gonna chase my dreams, my life.